Something very important that all business owners should know. Anyone who's in an LLC, in an S Corp, whether it's a disregarded entity or not, is the new requirements under the CTA, the Corporate Transparency Act. Starting January 1st, 2024, this is a requirement. If you don't file it, you can be penalized up to $10,000 per filing. This is an important thing, Kevin. What is the CTA?
The CTA is basically, from a high level, from my standpoint, is us picking up the government's slack because they cannot make any sense of all the filings that we already do, apparently, with tax returns every year, that they want a separate report sent to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN. They want a separate report on file with them so that if there is any financial fraud, tax evasion, any sort of criminal activity, that they can pull this CTA report. And the CTA report is an information report only. There's no tax due on it. It's just saying, here's the owners, here's the owners' addresses, social security numbers, here's how the entity is structured, the business address, formation jurisdiction with the state. It's stuff the IRS already knows when you file a tax return. But now there's going to be a filing requirement on single member LLCs, which is where I can see the IRS is trying to tie up a little loophole, because if you are a 100% owned LLC, you're filing that on your personal return. There's not a separate tax return for that LLC. So I can see in that instance, but it's really just that. It's an informational report that is going to go to this crime division in the event that they need it.
It's not something you can just shirk. This is a responsibility pushed on us. It's law. You got to do it or you're going to face serious penalties. But thankfully, it's not that big of a deal. Like Kevin said, it's just an informational report, but it better be filed. The requirements are any new entity you create on or after January 1st, 2024 has to file this form within 90 days of the creation of the entity. Anyone who has an entity prior to that was created previously or as late as December 31st, 2023 or before, you have until next year, January 1st, 2025 to get those filed. But make sure you get them filed. If your attorney's not filing them and most aren't, talk to someone else that will. A lot of CPAs aren't filing it either. We are going to file it for our clients, but that doesn't mean your CPA will. And we won't do it for our clients unless they actually engage us to do it as well. So make sure you speak about this with your attorney, your CPA, your tax professional. Get it filed.
Yes, and you have to file it. Like Mike said, this is law. So Mike and I's objective is to first educate our listeners that this is out there, and then we want to be able to support you in the instance that you actually need help filing this, because looking at the tax return, it's a little more complex than an information. Like, what is a beneficial owner? If you have an LLC owned by a trust by another LLC, and you have this little spider web of a formation, who's the beneficial owner? You might need a professional in your corner. So please reach out to us if you need any assistance on the CTA filing. We don't know the depths of it just yet. Just they're changing rules on a day-to-day basis. So tomorrow, the filing requirement could be double what it is presented today. We don't even have the forms available. We just want y'all to be aware, if you have any sort of entity out there in the United States, you're going to have some sort of filing mandate on you.
Also, any foreign entities doing business in the United States might have the same requirements. So be careful. Don't get in trouble. Follow the rules and make sure you don't end up owing the government $10,000 because you forgot about this.
Or going to jail. You can go up to jail for 2 years. And I'm not a fear monger. I'm just saying this is what the IRS says on page 1 of their correspondence is $500 per day, up to $10,000, or 2 years of jail time. So let's just file it. Don't risk it.
One other note, it's also called the BOI. I would like it if when the government creates something and assigns an acronym to it, there's just one acronym, but it doesn't seem that way with our federal government. So I started getting emails last month with BOI. I was like, what the heck is that? It's business beneficial ownership information, BOI. Same thing as CTA, Corporate Transparency Act.
The CTA has you file a BOA to FinCEN with the IRS. I mean, it's like a new language.
You just BOI, FinCEN, CTA. Oh my Lord. All because of the IRS.
Yes.